Today, we're celebrating Nelson Mandela's 100th birthday.
July 18, 1918 was a very important day for South Africans. Well, Africans as a whole, really. Maybe even for the world. It was the day that Nelson Mandela was born, near Kunu, South Africa. I made my journey from Los Angeles to join the world in celebrating Mandela's Centenary. Most people have read about or watched documentaries about Mandela's life, from struggle to freedom, prison, and then to becoming the president of South Africa. So let's look at some other parts of his life, starting with the earlier years. Since we're starting at the beginning, let's visit one of the places Nelson Mandela lived during his advocacy work. This home is located in Orlando West, Soweto. This was also the home that Nelson Mandela came back to after he was released from Robben Island in 1990.
Now, the street I'm on right now is world famous because two Nobel Peace Prize winners live here. The first is Desmond Tutu, and the second is Nelson Mandela. Now, right now, I'm standing in front of another one of Nelson Mandela's houses, and it's now been turned into a world-famous museum.
Did you know that Nelson Mandela was a lawyer and he worked at two separate law firms for a little over a year before starting his own company? Nelson Mandela opened his law practice in partnership with O.R. Tambo. The law firm was started to give Africans proper and affordable representation in court, but Mandela was banned from working outside of the magisterial district of Johannesburg. That was a tough fight to overcome.
I am here in old downtown Johannesburg in front of the first black law firm in the country. Now, it was started by Nelson Mandela and his partner O.R. Tambo, who are both celebrating their 100th birthday this year.
Three years after his release from prison, Nelson Mandela won the Nobel Peace Prize. A year later, he was on his way to become South Africa's first black president. Let's visit the historic place where Nelson Mandela casted his vote during the 1994 presidential elections in South Africa.
This is where Nelson Mandela casted his vote in the first free elections here in South Africa in 1994.
It is now a mini-museum. Walking in, one is surrounded by posters, models, video presentations, and statues that all tie back to the 1994 presidential elections and Mandela's 100th birthday. Across the room were large white boards for visitors to leave messages and show the world they had come to this historic site. I was very honored to sign as well. My journey would now take us to the last house that Nelson Mandela lived in.
So, Right now, I'm outside of the last house that Nelson Mandela lived. And as you can see all around, people have left stones to wish him well.
One, two, three. That's a wrap.